The jury selection begins in the case of a man accused of killing a San Marcos police officer. Why it's taken 6 years for the trial to start.
And the Iowa caucus just a week away now. What the frontrunners in the 2024 election are doing to get a leg up.
But first, did you get the umbrellas ready today? It was a gray, rainy day. It was windy, and we have more on the way. Thanks for being with us, everybody. I'm Britt Moreno.
I'm Daniel Marin. Meteorologist Rich Siegel is in for David this evening. We saw a little bit of everything today, Rich.
This day went according to it as it was forecast. That the rain would happen this morning in the hill country, across the interstate early afternoon, exit out before 4 o'clock, and it did that. It has left us with some gusty winds across the area, too. We take a look, though, at the rain that fell. This is up at Parmer and near I-35, where we see the showers that fell this morning and early afternoon. You know, we had a temperature drop of 20 degrees when the rain did fall and the cold front came in. We went from a high of, at that time, 70 degrees to what was our low at 1 o'clock at 50. Right now, though, as we take a look at clouds and radar for you, we are just seeing a few very, very tiny showers. One is in far eastern Lampasas County, and the other one is in far southwestern San Saba County. But we have a lot of sunshine, too, in some of the area that confined right now to Gillespie County. So far today, we picked up 76/100ths of an inch of rain, 7100 that at LaGrange at the Fayette Regional Air Center, 7100ths at Willow City, a gauge 10 miles north of the city, and a little more than a half an inch at one of the gauges at Kingsland. Here's a live look from our KXAN TV studio cam, West Shore Homes. It's 59 degrees. We have a mostly cloudy sky right now, but these clouds will eventually give up. Temperatures on the whole in the mid to upper 50s to around 60 in the hill country, and the same thing along and east of I-35. We're headed to most lows tomorrow morning in the 30s. We will give you more rain totals for the day when we return in just a few minutes.
Rich, thank you so much. Today, a court started the jury selection process for the trial of a man accused of killing a San Marcos police officer 6 years ago.
Our J.Lo Washington shows us why it's taken this long and how those who knew the fallen officer are feeling ahead of the trial.
An unusual number of people showed up Monday morning to potentially serve on the jury for a high-profile case in San Marcos.
By completing the questionnaire.
Some, like Alexandra Ivy, sent home before the screening process.
If you have not already checked in, you are free to go. Congratulations. Have a good day.
I was talking to, there was a guy next to me that was saying that he's never seen this many people here before. Definitely hundreds of people.
Thousands of jury notices hand-delivered last week because of a system error didn't limit the number of would-be jurors who showed up.
Is it pretty common when you've got a case like this to see such an extensive jury selection process?
I think in smaller communities.
Now the court prepares to try 57-year-old Stuart Metz, accused of shooting and killing San Marcos police officer Ken Copeland back in December of 2017.
There's no justice that can be done.
For those who knew Copeland, this reopens years-old wounds. Police say Copeland came to Metz's home to serve a search warrant on charges of assault and injury to an elderly person.
As we attempt this fake justice, we call it, that family will never be the same. That community will never be the same. The department will never be the same.
Copeland was the first San Marcos police officer to die in the line of duty. He left behind his wife and 4 children. J.Lo Washington, KXAN News.
And there will be a jury of 12 overseeing this case with 3 alternates, according to the judge. He expects opening arguments tomorrow, with the trial lasting through at least next Wednesday.
We want to take you live to some incredible images happening just north of us to downtown Fort Worth. If we have this video for folks, you can see what has happened here. It looks like some sort of blast went down here at a hotel in downtown Fort Worth. You can see whatever it was that caused the blast blew out windows and doors and really sent a lot of debris out onto the street. This was the Sandman Signature Fort Worth Hotel, and the fire department just gave us a brief update saying there is some sort of smell of gas in the area, and that could likely be the cause. They can't say for certain yet as they continue to investigate what happened. Medics transported 9 people to a local hospital. 3 of those people have serious injuries. We'll have much more here on KXAN and, of course, KXAN.com as soon as we learn more. A history teacher from Bastrop Independent School District is facing charges out of Tarrant County. The North Richland Hills Police Department arrested 42-year-old James Austin Bird for online solicitation of a minor on December 27th. Now, the district learned of Bird's arrest on the 28th. They accepted his resignation on January 4th. The Texas Education Agency confirmed Bird is under investigation by the agency's Educator Investigations Division.
Austin police are asking for your help finding 3 people behind a terrifying New Year's Eve crime spree across North Austin. Investigators say it started at a Whataburger off of I-35 near Breaker Lane around 1 a.m. They say the men then hit up the La Buena Market on North Lamar. Police say the men threatened clerks at gunpoint at both locations and then took off with cash, cigarettes, and unpaid merchandise. Now, after leaving the second scene, investigators say the 3 men who took off in a black Honda Civic opened fire on another vehicle on the highway. Police describe the men as Spanish speakers. Anyone with information should contact APD. A reward of up to $1,000 may be given for any info that leads to an arrest. Well, former Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson is being remembered today in Dallas.
She has been lying in state at the Hall of State Fair Park. The president is scheduled to attend her memorial tonight. A funeral service will be held tomorrow morning. She'll be buried at the Texas State Cemetery right here in Austin on Wednesday.
Now, Johnson was 89 years old. She served in the U.S. House for 3 decades after becoming the first registered nurse elected to Congress. She went on to become the first black woman to chair the House Committee on Science, Space, and Technology. And before Congress, she served in the Texas legislature. Her funeral comes as members of Johnson's family are negotiating with Baylor Scott & White over alleged medical neglect they say led to her death. The hospital has said it can't really comment for patient privacy concerns. Well, the final sprint is on in Iowa, with the 2024 presidential hopefuls making their last pitches to voters before those voters caucus on Monday.
And President Biden hit the trail today in South Carolina. NBC's Chris Pallone has the very latest.
With a week to go before the Iowa Republican caucuses, candidates are making their final pleas to any voters who are still undecided.
We're looking for candidates that love this country.
It appears to be a race for second place, with polls consistently showing former President Donald Trump as the clear Iowa frontrunner. Former Governor Nikki Haley selling herself as a more stable alternative to Trump.
You don't defeat Democrat chaos with Republican chaos.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis pledging to press on regardless of what happens.
We certainly have a lot of road after that. And, we're girded for that long battle.
The front runner will be off the campaign trail tomorrow and back in a Washington, D.C. courtroom as his lawyers argue the former president can't be held responsible for efforts to overturn the 2020 election.
He made that same argument about immunity from civil lawsuits, and the D.C. Circuit told him that he was wrong.
Over the weekend, Mr. Trump once again downplayed the violent January 6, 2021 assault on the Capitol, calling the hundreds of people charged with crimes and convicted for taking part in it hostages.
They ought to release the J6 hostages. They've suffered enough. They ought to release them.
At a campaign event in South Carolina, President Biden warned the fate of the republic is on the ballot this year.
They tried to steal an election. Now they're trying to steal history, telling us that violent mob was, and I quote, a peaceful protest. And losers are taught to concede when they lose. And he's a loser.
The president's speech at Mother Emanuel Church, where a white supremacist killed 9 black worshipers in 2015, is part of a campaign push focused on preserving democracy and fighting the rise of extremism in America. Chris Pallone, NBC News.
An animal rescue van stolen and returned within 12 hours. How much the theft is going to cost Austin pets alive. Plus, the man who attacked a Vegas judge in court last week was back in court again today. And a dog food company saying its dog food is perfectly safe. The facts behind the rumors around Purina you may have seen on social media.
A stolen van belonging to a local pet rescue has been found. Around 4 this morning, a man apparently stole a transport van for Austin Pets Alive in their downtown location. As you can see in the surveillance video, the thief drove it straight through the gate and just got away. The van was found at the 7-Eleven at South Lamar and Barton Skyway. Now, it's not yet clear if a suspect has been located, but APA said the van was vital towards their rescue efforts. The director of operations saying this kind of thing is rare.
You know, these incidents are very few and far between, thankfully. And, you know, there were some things internally that we could have done differently to avoid this. So we'll be looking at that. And then we'll also be looking at what additional measures we might be able to take.
APA said the quote to repair that broken gate is around $13,000. If you would like to donate to help out with repair costs, APA said they are taking donations.
Pet food manufacturer Purina is pushing back against claims on social media that its Pro-Plan dog food is making pets sick. In a statement, Purina says, quote, please beware of online rumors claiming there are issues with Purina products. These false statements may be creating unnecessary stress for pet parents. There are no health or safety issues with any of our products, and pets can continue to be fed with confidence. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration tracks recalls for pet products. The last Purina recall was from last March. Now, KXAN reached out to the FDA to see if it's investigating these newer claims. You can check out digital reporter Kelsey Thompson's story over at KXAN.com for those details.
The college football playoff championships are in Houston in a matter of hours. A live look down at the field before the game starts.
Well, the third of the three weather systems that we promised you at the start of the year did make it today, the third one, with 0.22 of an inch of rain at Camp Mabry. Monthly and yearly total now an inch and 0.61. At the airport, a little more, 0.27. And I have some more rain totals to share with you after the break.
The man who attacked a judge in a Las Vegas courtroom last week was back in front of that same judge today. 5 days ago, Dale Brow Redden was sentenced for felony battery and was pleading with Judge Mary Kay Holthus for leniency. When the judge made it clear she would sentence him to time in prison, he, of course, lunged and attacked her on the bench. We've all seen that video. The judge suffered some minor injuries. Now, Redden was back before Judge Holthus today, and the judge made it clear she hasn't changed her mind and is sticking with her sentence of 19 to 48 months in prison. Redden faces additional charges for last week's attack.
The college football playoff championship starts in just over an hour in Houston. It is the Michigan Wolverines versus the Washington Huskies, who did beat the Longhorns in New Orleans at the Sugar Bowl. We don't want to talk about that.
No, we won't talk about
it.
It
all happened earlier this month. Tonight, an exciting night.
And live for us is Jack Doles ahead of the game tonight. Jack, what is the energy like in the stadium?
Brent Daniel, I can tell you what, the energy would be a lot greater in this building if it was Texas against Michigan. No doubt about that. But the fans are all ramped up. You're hearing a lot of Michigan players just walking onto the field, starting to warm up. It was a little early on the arrival for a lot of these fans because of the weather that blew through Houston today. A lot of rain, so the tailgates were hampered a little bit, so the crowd might not be as loomed up, but they're going to be ready to cheer once this game starts.
We do have a question for you. What have fans been telling you about this championship game out there?
It all depends on what color they're wearing. The fans that are wearing the purple are telling you, yeah, it's a Washington win. And these Michigan fans are all decked out in their maize and blue. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that Michigan fight song. We went to a pep rally last night. The horns were blaring. They had about 3,000 to 5,000. They sold out Rice's basketball stadium for that pep rally. This is a program that hasn't won a national championship since 1997. They haven't won it outright since 1948. It's a program that's won 1,000 games, but they haven't. It's been so long since they celebrated the national championship. They're ready to blow the roof off this building.
All right, Rich, thank you so much.
First warning weather with meteorologist Rich Siegel.
Time now is 5:18 here on this Monday afternoon. A very pretty view from our Highland Furniture River City Grill camera out at Marble Falls, where it is 56 degrees at this time. Cedar and mold, they're a little higher than they were this morning, but thankfully cedar still in medium numbers and the mold count still in low numbers. All right, we've got the wind advisory in effect. It started earlier today and it runs until noon tomorrow for wind gusts that will exceed at times 40 to 50 miles per hour. As we get to late tonight, this is 11:30, we're looking at some gusts in the lower 40s, a few in the upper 30s. I don't know that we'll see too many at 50, but that is still a possibility. This is tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. We're still seeing some upper 30s in our far eastern counties and 40 to 45 in the rest of the area. By noon, these wind speeds are starting to dry off, and for the most part, we'll get about 30 to 35 coming across the area out of the northwest. And then as we get late in the afternoon, we'll start to see these gusts come down to around 25 to 30, and then during the evening, we'll find these gusts really at about 10 to 15, and that is about it. All right, one front is done out of the area. By late tonight, we anticipate seeing a partly cloudy to mostly clear sky. The sky will continue to be clear overnight. The second front delivers that northwest wind and those strong winds to come with it. And then we're sunny on Tuesday morning on into the afternoon. We'll see a few passing clouds Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, and then Wednesday should be mostly sunny with a few high thin cirrus clouds. So it's going to be a bright day tomorrow, unlike the day we had today. Thursday will be partly cloudy, then another front heads to the area. This could deliver just a little bit of rain after about midnight to 3 a.m. On Friday, and then a 10% chance of rain between about 6 o'clock and 8 a.m. and then it's out of here and we're dry for the weekend. The rain probability from that Thursday night, Friday morning rain event is not going to be much more than about 10 to 20%. As we take a look at the forecast for tonight here in the First Warning Weather Center, we're forecasting in town 39. This means in the outlying areas plenty in the low to mid 30s. A partly cloudy sky this evening, mostly clear overnight. Tomorrow, sunny, cold, 56. Normal is 62, so I think everyone stays in the 50s tomorrow. Northwest wind 20 to 35 with morning gusts as high as 40 to 45. Then on Thursday, we're partly cloudy, 74. That front will drop us to 54 on Friday, around 60 on Saturday, 57 on Sunday, and MLK Day will be very cold. We'll start out right at this time in the 30s, only managed to make the 40s. Low to mid 40s on Monday, and then there'll be some much colder air on Tuesday. The 8 to 14 day outlook from the Climate Prediction Center says a drier forecast for most of the state. Let's say from Texarkana down to Del Rio northward, and then from Austin southward into the coast in the lower valley. Conditions expected to be normal. Temperatures are expected to be colder than normal, and that is certainly borne out in our forecast from the 15th to the 16th. Guys, back to you.
Rich, thanks so much. A major school district going a bit greener. What's happening to AISD's buses?
Tonight, a News Nation exclusive, caught on camera. This teacher was brutally beaten by her student. Now in her first national interview, Joan Nadish joins Ashley, how the attack forever changed her life and what she hopes happens at trial. Plus, Gypsy Rose Blanchard, the unimaginable story, this time told by the woman herself. A look at the shocking revelations and never before heard details from the infamous case. Tonight on Banfield, only on News Nation.
Right now, the new troubling questions about Secretary of Defense Austin and why so many in the chain of command were kept in the dark about his hospitalization. And the study shedding new light into the unexplained deaths of hundreds of toddlers and what caregivers can do.
Austin Independent School District is getting some help in its efforts to have its buses go green. The Environmental Protection Agency is giving AISD $6.25 million for 25 new electric school buses. According to Congressman Lloyd Doggett, AISD is the first school district in Texas to pledge its transition to an entire fleet of electric buses away from diesel. Now, in a statement, the congressman says, in part, quote, the first new AISD electrics will be available this month. This means better air quality on the bus, at school, and in nearby neighborhoods, reducing diesel exhaust that's especially bad for growing young lungs and brains. And by the way, Del Valley ISD is going to get 20 electric buses as part of the program as well.
French President Emmanuel Macron launched the 200-day countdown for the Paris 2024 Olympics today, urging the French public to get more involved in sports as the country prepares to host the Summer Games for the first time in a century. Now, the Olympics will be held from July 26th through August 11th, with the Paralympics being staged from August 28th through September 8th. The medal designs for the events will be unveiled next month.
Right, well, coming up tonight on KXAN, we have a 2-hour America's Got Talent Fantasy League starting at 7 o'clock, followed by The Irrational at 9, and then you can join us here for KXAN News at 10.
You can also join us an hour earlier for KXAN News at 9 on CW Austin, and here is where to find us over the air or through your television provider.